your knives in your drawer.
So what's wrong with keeping a knife in the drawer?
Well, they bang around.
What if you just place it in
They
there?
bang.
Just like...
They just not. They bang around. They bang around. They thump into each other. Bad. Bad. You should take a picture of your knives and be like, don't do this.
Don't do what I've done.
So, blog rule 1, don't do this.
I find it hard to sharpen my knives. Sometimes I feel like I make it worse or I don't get the right tang on it.
Well, first of all, you have really good knives. This is a great knife.
Yeah, it's a good knife.
Really, really hard German steel.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's hard. They're hard to sharpen because they stay sharp longer.
It does stay sharp a long time, so I hardly ever do it. But it is hard. I find it's like a whole 30-minute ordeal to try to sharpen my knife.
Yeah. Because it's a really nice hard German steel.
So what are your tips?
Don't put it in the drawer.
No, for sharpening it. I got that. Okay, lesson. We learned it. Like anthropology lesson number 1.
So there's, if you already have an edge on your knife, you just need to use a honing steel to keep the edge proper. If you don't have an edge on your knife, ideally you want to use
and that's my honing steel? I thought that was a whetstone.
This is a whetstone.
Yeah.
You want to use a 3-stepped process. You want to go from a coarse to a medium to a fine grade on your
whetstone?
on your stones.
Yeah.
The coarse is like, the coarse puts the initial edge on it, and then you slowly smooth that edge down as you go through the medium and the fine on the stone.
Maybe that's why I have trouble sharpening it, because that's my only whetstone.
Yeah. So this is for something that already has some edge. Really, yeah, it's already better. So what you can do is you pick 3 spots on your knife, like equidistance for the stone. You can go, depending on the angle you want. Usually you're between like 17 and 22 degrees. 17 degrees would be like, 18 degrees would be like a really, really lean slicing edge for like a meat slicer or a sushi knife. A deeper angle, like 22 degrees, would be for something like a cleaver that you're hacking things with.
Yeah.
So, this would be like, you're 90 degrees.
So what do I want for my veggie?
45 degrees, 22 and a half. I do about 20. I do somewhere around 20. So you take it and you go like in 3 places. If it's a double edge, if it's a double bevel, you do on both sides. And then you already way sharper.
I think it's better.
Yeah, and then you can even look at it in the light, and you can see the edge.
Yeah.
And
it's way better.
And what you're looking for, you can see the little divots and stuff where it's been brutalized.
Heavily used.
Or just brutalized by drawer abuse.
Well, I thought you're criticizing my knife skills.
I mean, sure, it looks great for someone who opens a can with their knives.
The knife is like 8 years old.
Yeah, that's cool. You want to have, ideally, this, when you look at you should be able to see a difference in the shine quality of this edge. Like, that should be almost like a mirror finish. And that's a wet napkin, so it doesn't slide. When you see old fisher guys, they've got that real smooth stone in their pocket, and they're like constantly doing that.
Yeah.
They're just shining it up, and that really smooth stone is what gets you a really nice smooth blade edge. The honing steel is the big long steel with the handle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they're flat and they're diamond crusted. Generally speaking, they're magnetized, and the magnetization, the idea is that when you run the blade down it, it's smoothing this surface off, but it's also pulling, it's magnetizing the metal and pulling the molecules to the sides, so that you end up with this nice crisp
Wow, interesting.
point.
I had no idea about that. Knife skills 101.
Don't put it in a drawer. You use a honing steel before you cut, after you cut, especially like super acidic foods, tomatoes, lemons, citrus.
Yeah.
Anything that has like a high citrus acid quality content, anything acidic, before, after. If you want to keep it in the drawer, just wrap it in a towel with a rubber band so it makes like a makeshift sheath.
Yeah.
Then you can throw it in the drawer. If you don't use your knives, they'll go dull.
Yeah. And I use my knife like every day, 3 times a day.
Not using a knife is as detrimental to the blade as using it. Yeah, we're already way better. This is a nice knife, It's a Santuco, and it has the scalloped edges, so when you're cutting cheese and stuff, the idea that it doesn't stick. Because all this surface area, if you're cutting something that's like sticky, it'll hang up. That's what all these scallops are for.
I prefer the Santuco blade much better than the larger ones, the larger chef knives.
Yeah.
I find it's easier to work with, and I can chop a lot faster.